attended various ones around the district in multiple venues and multiple places. I think we all experience the same thing. So no, I just want to acknowledge the work done and the sentiment conveyed, and just delighted to see that it's a growing movement, so to speak. And I think for me, the lovely thing was the sense of unity that came out of it. And that's something that I'm really moved by. So anyway, without further ado, and also just want to acknowledge, thank goodness it's the end of the school holidays, just saying. And I know that there are many parents out there that would say the same thing, because our kids seem to not go to school much this month. So we're all delighted to have them back at school. And I believe the live streaming has just come online. Yeah. Parents and grandparents alike, right? Okay, so moving on to apologies. We're a full house today, I believe. Oh, Liz.
I was just going to actually just say a very, very happy birthday to the Mayor this morning. So she's come to work on her birthday, which I think is actually, it's always very impressive. So happy birthday, Susan.
Thank you. It's wonderful to celebrate my 21st with you all. Thank you, Liz. So moving on then to apologies. We're a full house today, which is fantastic. Then on to disclosures of members' interest. Does anybody have an interest they wish to declare? It's a reasonably short agenda, so I'd be surprised. Excellent. Late items. I'm not aware of there being any. No. Excellent. Confirmation of the order of meeting. There's not much room there for changing it round, and I'm comfortable with it as it is. Roger will move that. Philip will second it. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. So then we'll move to the confirmation of the minutes. Can I have a mover who's happy to accept or move? We were okay. Philip, I'm just sorry, my thing's a little bit slow to respond. Philip moved. Lou second. I'll put the motion that we accept them. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Is there anything in respect to these minutes? I think we've probably all been in touch if there's any changes to be made. So we've accepted them. Can I have somebody, I'll put the motion that they are true and correct. Andrew will second it. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Cool. Right. Moving on then to the first substantive agenda item, which is documents signed under council seal. Gary.
Oh, thank you. There are just 5 warrants there for staff. Some new staff, others are changes to titles within those within their roles. But just the warrants. Everything I apply a seal to has to be reported here.
Wonderful. So Mike, you're moving the motion. So Mike Pettit, and Marcus is going to second that. I'll put the motion as it's been first and seconded. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Great. Next item then is the appointment of members to the Future Proof Public Transport Subcommittee. And this is one of Kirsty's. And before we discuss the actual recommendations, I think there will be a small change to recommendation C, but I'll let Kirsty talk to her report. Thanks, Kirsty.
Through you, Madam Chair, this is actually a report prepared by David Topman, who I understand is on his way. So I'd like to take the report as read. Just with regard to the possible change to recommendation C, I'm not sure what that is, but just draw your attention to section 4 on page 16 of Diligent, and where it refers to membership of the subcommittee and with respect to membership by partner councils. It does make reference to, sorry, just working my way through that. One voting member from each of the Future Proof local government partners. And it does then, over on the next page, at the bottom of section 4, make reference to the members appointed to the subcommittee should represent the following attributes: have a strong interest in the work of the subcommittee, be a member of the Future Proof Implementation Committee, noting that one member is already a member of the Regional Transport Committee. So hence that was the recommendation for Councillor Liz Stoic and Mayor Susan O'Regan being the members of the subcommittee for Waipā.
Sorry, Kirsty. Yeah, I understand that other councils are are actually putting up nominations for other elected members to go or be an alternate. So I understand that it would be acceptable for another elected member to potentially be the alternate. I did speak with the chair. So hopefully, might be worth checking, but I think it would still be worthwhile pursuing the change. I think I'm fairly certain that that's going to be, yeah. So I was going to actually nominate Councillor Gordon to be the alternate on this committee, change to the C of the recommendation.
Which I'm comfortable with. So was there anything else you wanted to address in terms of your report there? No?
No, thank you, Your Worship.
Cool. Wonderful. Is there any discussion to be had around the report and the recommendations there subject to that subbing me out and placing in Councillor Gordon? Philip?
No, I haven't got any real discussion, but very happy to support Roger being the alternative member. So
fantastic
member. So yeah, great.
Are you happy to move the recommendation for me, Philip?
Yes, I will then. Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Do I have any on the basis there's no further discussion? Claire and then Mike.
Yeah, because I'm on the Regional Land Transport Committee, which takes that broader view. And so what is there any difficulty with having a person that isn't on that committee, like, and Mike's the alternate for that, you know, to be, whether it would make sense for those people to be on the public transport side. Not that I have any problem with Roger being the alternate, because I can see that, you know, he's obviously got a strong interest in the public transport space. Yeah, but he's not got the visibility of the Regional Land Transport Committee. So, yeah.
Liz?
Yeah. I guess when we were talking this through, it was more managing workloads than probably anything else. And given the vast amount of work, I guess the pressures that we're all under, just felt that, and Roger with a strong interest in public transport just might be a really good fit. But I do think that all of the meetings are open for people to view and to listen to. And I know that Roger's been listening to all of these meetings anyway, online. So I do think that he would have a very good, already has exceptional visibility over the matters. So it was more of a workload, you know, making sure that everyone's got sort of managing their workloads more than anything else.
And Gary's just pointed out that this just has that narrow focus around public transport, not the broader view. So,
well, yeah, although the
comment.
public transport that is handled by this particular committee is probably the vast lion's share of the public transport services that would affect Waikato. Yeah, because it's most of it is the city and the feeder services to the city. Yeah, and what's the reporting back for the material that this committee has? Like this, do we get the reports on it, or because we don't actually get very much from Future Proof generally. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, that's noted, and I think that's something that we are looking to address through staff reporting back on Future Proof.
Thank you. Yeah, good point. It's a fair point, Claire. Yeah, absolutely. Mike, did you have something you wanted to add? You're all good?
To second it, I think Roger's the right person for this, so happy to second that recommendation.
Okay, so Philip and Mike, there being no further discussion, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Congratulations, Roger. Right, gosh, my machine's slow. Tab 9 is moving on then to the next item, which is an update to the Future Proof Agreement in terms of reference. Kirsty, yet again.
Through you, Madam Chair. Again, another report prepared by David, so apologies for his absence this morning. Again, would request that this report be taken as read. Now, I am also just wanting to draw attention to feedback that we've had from Councillor Claire St Pierre, just raising the issue of reference within the terms of reference to entity B and note that this has been endorsed by the Future Proof Implementation Committee. There is some, yes, still clarity to be provided in terms of the entities, but we will certainly raise that with the Future Proof Implementation Advisor, just for awareness. Thank you. Nothing further to add.
Yeah, well spotted too, Claire. Any comments or questions for Kirsty in respect of this report? And the agreed terms and reference? No? Okay, so we have a recommendation appearing therefore on page 23 of our agenda to receive David's report via Kirsty and to approve the amended Future Proof Implementation Committee agreement in terms of reference. Marcus is going to, and then Andrew will second that. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Next item, updates to council delegations. Diana, nice to see you. Good morning.
Morena Koto. My report seeks approval to make minor updates to council delegations under the Resource Management Act. It's a result of the creation of 2 new roles, and it's proposed that they're provided with similar delegations to existing roles. Very happy to take any questions on this.
Short and sweet. Anybody else? Oh, Claire's happy to move and Lou will second that. I'll put the motion then. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. I think that's a record. Thanks, Diana. That's wonderful. Our next item then is the adoption of the Waikato Triennial Agreement. Morning, Joe. Oh, hi, Joe. I haven't seen you for a day or 3. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Good morning. This report is to present the triennial agreement, which is something we do each triennium. This version of the agreement has been endorsed by the Mayoral Forum. So it's actually out with all councils now for adoption. So now really isn't the time to make changes to the agreement because everyone's signing it. So really it is here for you to see if this is something you would like to adopt today. Any questions?
Claire.
Yeah, thanks. Just a couple of minor things. Firstly, on page 6 of the report or page 74 of the agenda, it lists the funding of COLAB. I thought there had been a change of membership of COLAB that included a Bay of Plenty Council and that one of the other councils had dropped out. So I'm just querying whether or not that list is correct.
Gary.
So this is in relation to the way the Secretariat for the Mayoral Forum is funded, and the Taupo District Council are still a member of the Mayoral Forum, and the Bay of Plenty councils aren't a member of the Mayoral Forum. So this is really just a formula to fund the Secretariat, and all up that's about a total cost of $5,000 a year split between all of those councils. So it's quite a small amount of money. This is the formula that COLAB use to divide their costs.
Oh, so basically it is correct. Yeah, okay, cool. And then some minor wording change is needed under the principles, which are on page 3, that first point on page 71 of our agenda. So they're just the first point under principles. The second sentence isn't a complete sentence. It needs to be changed to issues and concerns may be shared, because otherwise it's not correct. Yeah.
I suppose this version is out with all councils for adoption, so we can't, in terms of making changes now, it's not really possible to send it back around out to everyone. I'm not sure where everyone is in the process. I think if there's something that you're fundamentally opposed to and don't want to adopt the triennial agreement, then that is the message that you need to give today by not adopting it, rather than kind of finessing words at this point with it being out with 12 councils, and some will have already adopted this version of the document and some will have it on their agendas, and it would be quite the process to pull things back now to change wording.
Or would it be possible to note it for future versions? So
I think that
the
would be a very good
areas-
recommendation for future versions.
And then the last thing I'd like to mention is that it does say that minutes will be circulated, but we've not been getting minutes circulated, which I've raised a number of times. And I think it's important that there is good communication back from the mayoral forum. And I'm hoping that that will be improved. I don't know how to, I mentioned it to Gary a couple of times and Susan.
Yeah. We're comfortable with circulating those via the Friday mail out if that's suitable. Claire? There was some discussion had about the fact that this was an opportunity to reinvigorate and the forum and reset, I guess, after the sort of hiatus of sorts over COVID. So I think my understanding is that there was a little bit of lack of progress, I suppose, in terms of the activities of the forum over recent years. So this is an opportunity to relook at this. And of course, this is a sort of an agreed way forward, but we haven't yet agreed to what the work program will look like. That's yet to be determined. So I attended a workshop, losing track of time, last Friday, wasn't it? With other mayors to try and hash out what our priorities were for the next triennium in terms of the substantive issues. And no specific agreement was reached. We came to a conclusion there were a cluster of issues, and we thought we'd go away, consider them in greater detail, and then circulate what those options were and reach agreement via email which particular priorities stood out for us as being those ones. So it was a pretty it was an interesting morning workshopping through what priorities were, and really diverse needs across the whole district. TCDC with the challenges that they have at one sort of side of the district, and Waikato as well. Quite diverse needs. So there's still work being done in that space around what the specific priorities are, but we'll definitely keep abreast of those for you all. So subject to noting that into the future, there needs to be a change in how that's written. And I believe that there was another weird typo there somewhere. But as you've noted, Joe, this is already out for approval. So with that said, on page 65, we have a recommendation that we receive Joe's report and that we adopt the Waikato Triennial Agreement attached as Appendix 1. You're happy to move that, Liz, and Bruce will second that. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those against? Carried. Thanks, Joe. And welcome back from your holiday. Right, next matter before us is the resolution to exclude the public, appearing on page 79 of our agenda. Roger will move that. Lou will second it. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried.